Hello and welcome to another edition of ProtoMet's First Impressions, where I give my thoughts on the first episode of any new tokusatsu show. And today, I've got a guest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tank.
Today we'll be talking about the first episode of Ultraman Decker. Though a bit of a preface, after Trigger, I was not terribly enthused about this. But Trigger was a disappointment.
I have no deal because I haven't seen Trigger, so I'll take his word for it. But
You'll see it eventually.
yeah, I'm slowly but surely trying to catch up to Ultra series. So be patient with me, people, please.
No, never. You have to be up to date now. In fact, you have to be up to date 10 seconds ago. Why are you still not up to date? God. No. No, since he was coming over and I had yet to see the new episode of Decker, figured we'd do a collab for once on this.
I thought it was alright, but
Yeah.
I officially have forgot everyone's name. It takes me time. I need to watch a few more episodes to
That's fair.
get the mentally.
In the lead up to Decker, I'd been watching Ultraman Chronicle D, which was mostly a recap of Dyna and other stuff. And like at the end of each episode, they'd have like a teaser for Decker, which was really just him transforming into his various forms, which I don't even think he did in this first episode.
No, not at all. It was his base form, and he did well.
But yeah, that teaser did nothing but just tell me they were trying to hype us up for the fact that he could change forms, which...
Wait, sorry to cut you off, but haven't the last couple seasons prior been able to transform?
It's been like almost 30 years now.
That they get a different form, a stronger form, etc., etc. I'm watching a series right now that, he could get armor. I'm like...
the last season they had was literally a tribute to the first season that had form changes.
Yeah.
Granted, Ultraman Dyna, which Decker is clearly modeled after, was a direct sequel to Tiga, and it was fine. I actually recently rewatched it, and while I do have some negative things to say about it, I have more positive than bad, so...
Well, that's good.
I just feel it's a bit weak compared to the two shows it was sandwiched between, but that's a whole other topic.
Well, they all can't be gold.
So I was kind of expecting Decker to be kind of a mediocre retread of Dyna, just like Trigger was.
We still really don't know. We just watched the first episode.
Oh, yeah. But I can definitely say there are some things that were done differently.
Yeah.
And I hope it stays that way, because I don't want them to just basically be trying to remake old classic seasons of Ultraman. Like, I felt like Trigger was an attempt to wholeheartedly replace Tiga, simply because they couldn't get the actor's agency to sign off on him showing up in anything. Because if you actually watch the clip series that came out before Trigger, they would replay episodes of Tiga and just completely remove any footage of the lead actor.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they just have him in the Tiga form.
If at all possible. They would otherwise just edit around it to have every character but the lead character. It's just...
They know he exists, right?
Like they at least let him show up in some commercials for an SH Figure Arts fairly recently, so...
He's doing something.
Even while that clip series was airing, but that's a whole other topic. We're talking about Decker now.
Yes.
Sorry to go off on that little rant. It's just Trigger kind of turned me off, and so I'm understandably a bit hesitant about Decker, because it definitely feels like they're trying to redo Dyna, or at least that's what it looks like. There's definitely the Dyna vibe, which is unmistakable. But let's actually talk about the first episode and actually give our thoughts.
Well, we get introduced to a young gentleman.
Asumi Kanata.
And he's working in a grocery store or a little convenience store with his grandfather, and he goes out on a delivery, and he pretty much watches a ship go up in the air, and there's this girl just upset
because she wanted to go into space too, but apparently she wasn't able to this time around. But she became determined to go next time.
Then, like, he tries to sell.
She tries to sell her some cookies that the shop he works at sells as a specialty.
He kind of seemed kind of pushy on trying to sell these. It was a very funny scene, and she's being very polite, saying, no, thank you, no, thank you.
And then another dude just kind of shows up and says, "Hey, we gotta get going."
Yep, and just doesn't even acknowledge him. Just like
yeah, he's clearly the jerk of this season, but
you gotta have one, at least one, that is not like an alien or a kaiju.
Yeah, past few seasons have kind of had that super serious character that can sometimes come across as being kind of a jerk, even if he doesn't mean to.
It's just his personality, like him.
Yeah. We're also get a scene of the head of the space agency of this series talking with somebody else, and they're talking about how their budgets are being cut for various reasons. And the actor is played by the same guy who played the karaoke shop worker in the live-action Sailor Moon show. And he also played Kamen Rider 1 in both Kamen Rider the first and the next. So he's
been busy.
He's been in a few tokusatsu shows prior to this. Admittedly, when I first saw the announcement he was in there, I was like, where do I recognize him from?
Well, like when he first showed up, I told you, I think I've seen him in something else, I just don't know what.
And he very likely has, without realizing it.
So then, pretty much, he's trying to head back. No, wait, aliens show up.
Yeah, they get a message from Mars saying they were under attack by alien invaders who are now attacking Earth via warp technology. The Spheres, who are actually the major antagonists from Ultraman Dyna, which is, again, just calling back to Dyna. I'm honestly hopeful that this season actually does something with the Spheres for the majority of the series, rather than how Dyna just kind of forgot they existed for half the show.
Well, maybe they'll be the main antagonists.
I hope so. I mean, I'm assuming Decker's going to have the same somewhat truncated 2-core season like the last few seasons have, so hopefully we get more opportunity to have these villains, because they really didn't do a whole lot with them for like half of Dyna. And then the second half just kind of used them sporadically even then. It's like
So pretty much what happens,
the aliens just cause a whole lot of devastation.
Yep. He's running towards something, and then he notices there's a lady trapped.
He being Asumi.
Yeah, Asumi. Asumi. Sorry. Our main protagonist.
Yeah.
Antagonist.
Protagonist. Antagonist is the bad guys.
Yeah, so
here's somebody calling for help under some rubble.
Yep. And he's trying to move it, and the jerk from earlier kind of tells him to get out of here. Then he explains that there's a woman under the... And
so then he and the lady start helping out.
Yeah.
Then the commander shows up with like some other soldiers, and they start shooting at the spheres while they're trying to get the lady out from under the rubble.
As you do.
I kind of zoned out on what was actually happening at this point, and at one point Asumi picks up a rifle and starts just charging towards the spheres.
Yep, shooting and...
Because they start absorbing people.
Yeah. So I think he gets slightly absorbed.
And then Ultraman Decker shows up and fuses with him, I guess.
like, I guess he picks up the transformation deal, and then like the silhouette of Decker. Oops. And they merge, and he becomes giant and
fights whatever Duramba variant this show has for its starter.
Yeah, it really didn't do much damage to Decker, so it was quite weak compared to some.
Did an okay fight. I mean, Decker kind of had to sideswipe it at one point.
A few times. Like, he was definitely faster than.
Right. But like we said, he doesn't form change in this episode, so we still have to learn that stuff.
Yeah, so it's not like the first little, just have him be in his base form, beat a kaiju so he can beat people in things in his base form, then slowly build her up to the point where he has to transform into a different stage.
Now, one thing that I think both Tiga and Dinah did pretty well is establish that the character can form change for different abilities, and then just stick to those forms for pretty much the entire run. like first episode, they're like, these are the forms he has, and we're just gonna stick with those.
Okay.
Clearly, the last few seasons are going to be introducing new forms gradually to sell more toys over the course of the half year that the show is gonna run for. I really hope that they don't try to do this a third time with Gaia, because Gaia is perfect as is. They do not need to remake that. Move on, people. But I can definitely say that I like Asami's more. He is excitable, sure, but he's not a hothead.
He's spunky.
He's spunky, but not like he's not the kind of person who will just rush forward with guts and assume everything's gonna turn out okay. He seems a bit more scaled back compared to Shin from Dinah. Like Shin was absolutely overconfident. He had skills, yeah, but
pretty much you're telling me this guy would go off against some grunts before transforming.
Yeah, basically.
Boy's got balls.
Yeah, nearly gets him killed.
Does he stay that way for the whole series?
Yeah, pretty much, but I'm fine with it since they stuck with it.
It'd be weird if they just randomly changed.
Just completely changed his personality.
Just like, oh no, I'm gonna run away now.
But in the aftermath of the battle, Asami wakes up still kind of wondering what happened. The transformation device just kind of
disappears,
vaporizes in his hand. Evaporates practically.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the CG kind of did, It was.
He still got the card holder he had on his hip, but he still is not sure. And then the TPU guys show up. TPU being the space group.
It's the Defense Force.
Basically, yeah. Well, I'm wondering at which point they'll switch over to being Gut Select, because that's what's on their uniforms and like all the promo material.
Maybe in a couple episodes.
Maybe. This is a sequel to. At least they're not going as far as to setting up a separate team with a slightly similar name, but with Super at the front, like they did back in Dinah. Tiga had guts, and Dinah had super guts. It's like
they all randomly turn blonde.
It was just a one time. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm actually okay with them sticking with the Gut Select name from Trigger. So, but the kind of jerk guy tells Asami off for just kind of rushing in there because he's a civilian. It's not his place to go defending people.
Yeah,
that's their job. And the commander guy, he comes up and is like, he's not wrong, but good on you for having the drive.
Yeah.
If you ever want to keep fighting, give me a call.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what he kind of said. Well, maybe not in them words, but
More or less.
Yes.
Basically what.
So then, what's his name?
Asami?
Asami. I apologize, guys. It takes me a while to physically remember names.
If anybody remembers back in the old Kaiju review days, anytime we had a video with Japanese names, he would always have trouble. So
Yeah, and eventually we just said F it a few times, and he, even though I said it wrong, Lucas here would put the name correctly under it. Thank you, by the way.
yeah, no problem.
So now Asumi went back to his shop, and his grandfather tells him, "You don't need to worry about me.
Just do what you want to do."
Mm-hmm.
And the episode ends with the commander guy giving a speech about how they've shut down space exploration for the time being because of the spheres, and now everybody's basically being forced to apply for gut select training.
Yep.
And Asami steps forward enthusiastically saying that he's ready for all the training.
And I just like the other two, the guy, the jerk guy, and the girl that was kind of sad because she couldn't go up into space. She just goes, ah! like
not quite as blatantly, but
no,
like
it was more. It was a more shock.
Yeah, they were definitely shocked that they were at what they were saying.
Yep, and how rambunctious he actually was until they all do the pose, and he's just so energetic, just. Ugh.
I don't know.
It was one of the arms, I can't remember.
So, not bad.
No.
Not a bad first episode.
No.
I was a little surprised they didn't go with the new Gomra version that they had in the previous special last week.
That might be. They might be saving that for when he gets his first transformation.
Yeah, maybe after that, because I know that the next episode has some other non-monster that isn't that, so...
So, yeah, I enjoyed the first episode, so...
I thought it was pretty good. I'm definitely going to keep watching, because of course I am.
If I start to lose interest, I'll probably stop, but I have the YouTube... I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel that is showing this, so...
Yeah, they've got it up on YouTube for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They've also got it on Ultraman Connection, which I am not yet subscribed to. I probably should because I've got some content I want to check out. Including some new Ultraman Max special that just recently came out. I'm hoping that at least makes it onto the upcoming DVD release or whatever they've got coming out. Because I know that that's like a tail end of stuff they've got planned for this year, so... hopeful for that, but back to the topic of Decker. A decent first episode.
Yeah. Well, you can't really judge a series on just the first episode. You gotta go...
Unless it's only one episode.
Yeah, exactly.
When I remember a couple of years ago I did a review of the first episode of Kaiju Gallus, and that was basically a review of the entire show. Because I never did anything with the concept after that.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a fun concept, too. But yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah. So, bye.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah.
Until next time, this has been me, ProtoMet.
I'm Tank.
See ya.